What if the man who spent years denying everything was caught on camera saying the one thing he could never admit? A leaked clip just surfaced, and it's shaking Dallas to its core. Yella Beezy, relaxed, laughing, completely unaware the camera was rolling, suddenly drops a line that connects him directly to MO3's death. One careless sentence, and everything he's claimed for years collapses. The streets are buzzing, the feds are watching, and the truth, it's more shocking than anyone expected. You won't believe what he actually said. Dallas streets have seen their fair share of drama, but this one hit different. A leaked clip shows Yella Beezy casually admitting to killing MO3 without even realizing he was on camera. Now, the feds are paying attention, the streets are buzzing, and the whole situation just got way messier. Let's break it down. The moment B slipped up, he wasn't performing. He wasn't in an interview trying to dodge questions. He was relaxed talking like the camera didn't exist, like he was just chilling with friends in a safe space. And that's when people make mistakes. One wrong sentence, and years of careful storytelling can crumble in an instant. What makes this moment so shocking is how completely unaware B was. In that leaked clip, he casually admitted something directly tied to MO3's death, and the second the words left his mouth, it was as if a switch flipped. You can see it in his body language, the confidence, the swagger, the unshakable energy that he usually carries in public or on camera, draining away almost instantly. This wasn't the polished, media-trained B, the one who sits in interviews staring down the lens and carefully crafting every word to appear innocent, oblivious, or detached. That version of him, the one who has spent years shaping an image of someone uninvolved, someone above the chaos, is gone in this moment. Instead, what you see is the unguarded B, the one who speaks freely as if no one is listening, as if the streets themselves, and certainly the D, couldn't possibly hear him. It's the B who forgets that even a casual statement can be recorded, scrutinized, and used in ways he never imagined. There's a raw honesty in the way he talks, a sense of comfort so deep it becomes dangerous. He laughs, he gestures, he brags, he references situations he's always denied, all without thinking. It's the kind of moment where the truth slips out unfiltered. When years of careful distancing, rehearsed denials, and crafted public appearances collapse in an instant, and the impact is immediate. The viewers, fans, and even investigators can sense it, the shift from confidence to subtle panic. The split-second realization that he's just revealed more than he intended. In that room, B thought he was safe. He thought he could talk freely, like old times, in private, with no repercussions. But that one sentence changes everything. It strips away the mask he's worn for years, exposing a side of him the public has only speculated about. For anyone watching, it's not just a slip, it's a window into the truth he's tried so hard to hide, and that's what makes it 10 times crazier. He wasn't stressed, angry, or pressured. He was just chilling, and that's exactly when people let things slip. But to really understand why this clip matters, you need to know B's history. He's spent years crafting a public persona that distances him from MO3. Bring it up, and he goes full media mode. Smiles, shrugs, dodges questions, acts like he doesn't even know the name. He's done it in interviews before, even brushing off mentions of diss tracks. Yet behind that calm exterior is a man who has been involved in some of Dallas rap's deepest, quietest feuds. In March 2025, he was indicted for allegedly planning a murder, accused of paying Chin White to shoot MO3 on I-35E. Official reports charge him with capital murder with remuneration, and he's under house arrest, awaiting trial. The last thing he needed was to accidentally speak freely and confirm patterns of retaliatory violence investigators have been tracking. But that's exactly what happened. To understand the weight of this slip-up, remember, B has admitted on camera before that he's pulled the trigger in past street conflicts, framing it as retaliation. Back then, it didn't matter much, but once MO3 was dead, those old statements resurfaced, and suddenly everything about his past behavior looked different. The streets noticed. Blogs started digging through old clips, fans pieced together timelines, and whispers about retaliation, circulating quietly since 2018 came roaring back. And there's more context. B survived a shooting himself years before MO3's death. In 2018, his car was riddled with 23 bullets on the George Bush Turnpike. The shooters approached from the side. He got hit multiple times, and fans immediately linked it back to MO3. Even though MO3 denied any involvement, people started connecting dots. Lyrics, interviews, live streams, and the history between the two. Every detail suddenly felt connected, and the leaked clip made the situation explode. One careless moment, one confession. And the story of Dallas rap just got a lot more dangerous and a lot more real. Even though BB has always claimed he didn't know MO3, now even saying, "I don't know who that buddy is," the streets never believed him. When MO3 was killed in broad daylight on I-35E, chased down the highway and shot while running for his life, Dallas didn't see it as random. Everyone knew it was part of a long, quiet, ugly feud. Over 800,000 fans reacted online. The city froze, and the police treated it as a targeted hit, the kind of attack that comes from motive, not coincidence. That's why this new clip is so explosive. People are reacting because BB has spent years pretending he was never part of any of this. He pretended he didn't know. MO3. He pretended he never engaged in that type of energy. He pretended the whole rivalry was just made-up blogger drama. But now, footage shows a completely different side of him. A side that talks freely, reveals what he normally hides, and accidentally lines up with what investigators have been alleging for years. The wildest part, the confession didn't come from anger, pressure, or a heated moment. He wasn't cornered. He was laughing, relaxed, comfortable, talking like the cameras weren't on. And that's when the truth slipped. One sentence, something he had denied publicly for years, now exposed a connection to the entire MO3 situation. The second he realized what he said, everything changed. His face tightened, his shoulders shifted, and the weight of an open capital murder case hit him instantly. He tried to correct himself, play it off, but the damage was done. Panic is immediate when someone accidentally admits to something they've denied for years. And B felt it instantly. For years, he has fought to distance himself from MO3 and any hint of retaliation. Every interview is filled with denials. On camera with Sicey, he acted like MO3 was a name he'd never heard. But in this leaked clip, he speaks with familiarity. He references details, recalls moments, and sounds nothing like the clueless, "I don't know him" version. It's the difference between a script and the truth. Since B's indictment, the legal pressure has been crushing. Prosecutors claim he paid Chinwhite to kill MO3, charging him with capital murder with remuneration, the heaviest charge in Texas. Evidence includes financial patterns, communications, and witness statements. Even Chase Bank was subpoenaed for transaction logs linked to the case. This isn't just street drama. This is a man facing life without parole, maybe worse. And that one slip, one careless sentence, could tie his words directly to what prosecutors have been building for years. Investigators live for patterns. And now, thanks to this clip, they have one more piece of the puzzle. Prosecutors love it when a defendant contradicts himself on camera. For years, B has claimed he wasn't involved in street disputes, denied gang activity, and rejected any connection to Dallas violence. On camera with Sicey, he even swore, "I don't do no gangbang, I'm a rapper." He publicly cut ties, shifted his image, and played the role of a family man and clean artist. But in this new leaked clip, that version of B vanishes. Here, he talks like someone who's lived through the very street cycles that blogs have been linking him to for years. He speaks with a familiarity and personal history he usually pretends doesn't exist. That's why the internet reacted so strongly. When BB forgot the cameras were on, he sounded like the person the streets always claimed he was, not the polished image he sells. And the timing couldn't be worse. B is already under house arrest, allowed to leave only once a week for music. The judge recently approved 5-hour studio sessions, but outside that, he's locked down with nowhere to hide out now. With this footage out, he faces yet another problem. Public perception. Juries are human. They notice if a defendant seems shady, inconsistent, or fake. They don't like it when someone acts one way in interviews and another behind the scenes. This clip shows a version of B-By that his legal team absolutely didn't want the world to see. What makes it even more significant is that the slip lines up with details fans, bloggers, and investigators have speculated about for years. It doesn't prove guilt, but it cracks open a door B has fought to keep closed. Dallas streets have whispered for years that the 2018 shooting he survived was the spark that ignited the feud with MO3. After that shooting, B's energy shifted, his music, demeanor, and interviews all changed. Once MO3 was killed, fans connected old comments and began piecing together the tension that had been simmering for years. Hip-hop platforms even noted the connection, highlighting B's arrest for capital murder in MO3's death. That's why every interview BB gave after surviving being shot 3 times was watched closely. According to reports, his car was hit 23 times during the attack, and he barely escaped alive. Most people would have been shaken, scared, even confused. But B, he came off almost unnervingly calm. He didn't seem lost or shocked. He acted like someone who had already been through that kind of danger before, someone who knew the street's rules and consequences. That fits with his own words from years earlier. Back in 2019, B admitted on camera that he had shot at people in the past. Not randomly, he said, only in retaliation. Back then, it didn't blow up the way it would have today, but looking back, it adds a whole layer to the story. Take that 2019 admission, add the 2018 shooting he survived, then fast forward to MO3 being killed in 2020 and a pattern begins to emerge, whether B wants to admit it or not. And the new leaked clip where he didn't realize the camera was rolling fits perfectly into that timeline. In it, he casually references a situation he has denied for years. And just like that, the internet instantly knew what he was talking about. It wasn't just fans who noticed. Bloggers, commentators, even people in Dallas who usually stay quiet began weighing in. This wasn't a normal slip. This was a man whose entire defense rests on "I wasn't involved," accidentally speaking like someone who very much was. Everything investigators, prosecutors, and fans have been arguing for years suddenly seemed confirmed. Not legally, not officially, but in the way that matters. When the mask drops and the truth leaks, the story gets darker from there. MO3 was killed on I-35E on November 11, 2020. The attack was bold, public, and personal. Police reports say MO3 was chased on foot and shot multiple times by a gunman on the interstate. An innocent bystander was also injured. Within hours of the news, social media exploded. Fans connected the killing to B's 2018 shooting, dug up old clips, and questioned his previous "I don't know him" interviews. Tragedy turned into conspiracy in minutes. Then the law stepped in. Dallas police made their first arrest, Kanan Dontrell White, accused shooter, charged in early 2021. Later, federal records linked him to illegal weapons, leading to a 105-month federal sentence. But the plot thickened when Devin Morris Brown, an alleged accomplice, became involved. Court filings say Brown admitted being upset over a woman tied to MO3, a mix of heartbreak, revenge, and ego that fueled the deadly chain of events. Through it all, B stayed silent. He posted music, shared pictures, carried himself publicly like a man who had nothing to do with it. Then, on March 18, 2025, a Dallas County grand jury indicted him for capital murder while remuneration. The charge suggesting he didn't pull the trigger himself but paid someone else to do it. 2 days later, on March 20th, he was arrested. The internet erupted again. Some celebrated, some defended him, some reposted old interviews with captions like, "The lies caught up." The indictment didn't hold back. It directly accused B of hiring White and Brown to kill MO3. Financial evidence was being reviewed, and for fans, the city, and outsiders following online, it felt like the final piece of the puzzle had fallen into place. But B, he stayed silent. No interviews, no explanations, no breaking character. The story on, the tension around it was far from over. That's why the leaked clip hit like a bombshell. For the first time, the man who used to say, "I don't know who that is," sounded like someone who knew exactly what was going on. And remember, B is under strict house arrest, only allowed 5 hours a week to record music. He can't afford mistakes, contradictions, or anything that even looks like involvement. But now, he's caught on camera saying something he never wanted anyone, public or courtroom, to hear. And the internet believes this clip more than any official statement he's ever made. Why? Because when people feel comfortable, they tell the truth by accident. And B was far too comfortable. The sentence that changed everything. "We already handled that boy before he got touched." That line isn't casual. It's not vague. It's not one of those statements you can twist multiple ways. It's specific enough to make anyone watching freeze, rewind, and realize the mask wasn't just slipping, it fell straight off. To understand why this moment is so intense, picture the scene. BB wasn't in a studio. He wasn't doing an interview. No manager, no PR team, no controlled setting. He was in a living room type space, laughing, bragging, and talking freely like rappers do when they feel safe. Drinks were on the table, music was low, and he was oversharing without a care. He wasn't whispering. He wasn't choosing words carefully. He wasn't acting like a man facing a capital murder charge. He was talking like no one in the room could or would record him. Except someone did. And that's why the internet blew up. That one line, "We already handled that boy before he got touched," sent the entire online community into a frenzy. The literal words aren't a confession. He didn't say, "I did it," or "we shot him." But figuratively, that line confirms the narrative the streets have whispered since MO3's death. Here's the context. For years, Dallas fans argued that B and MO3 had some sort of confrontation before the highway shooting. Some say it happened at a club, others say in the streets. Some point to a woman, others think it was about past retaliation. B has always denied it. On camera, he pretends he doesn't know MO3. Acts like the whole situation is irrelevant, even calls diss tracks something I never heard. Now, that all changes. On this clip, he's caught saying, "We handled that boy before he got touched." That one sentence destroys the careful image he's been building for years. It shows he wasn't oblivious. He wasn't removed from the situation, and for the streets and the internet it confirmed what they suspected all along. This is why the leaked clip is such a bombshell. It shows B wasn't uninvolved. It proves MO3 wasn't some random person who just happened to die. Something personal happened, something B was part of, and the internet didn't need extra evidence to see it. When you line up his slip with the timeline prosecutors have laid out, everything fits together disturbingly well. State filings allege B organized a plan involving White and Brown for retaliation. When the clip dropped, fans immediately compared it to older footage of BB dodging questions. The contrast was staggering. In past interviews, he acted like MO3 didn't matter, claiming ignorance. Now, in unguarded footage, he talks about MO3 as if their conflict was common knowledge among his inner circle. The intensity hits when you watch B's reaction the moment he says the line. He doesn't look confident or proud, he looks scared. His eyes shift, his mouth tightens, his whole demeanor changes. You can see him realize he's said too much. He tries to laugh it off, changes the subject, leans back, breaks eye contact. Classic signs of someone who knows they crossed the line. Bloggers immediately compared this to past interviews. Like when Saishi asked about gang ties, B's official response was stiff and defensive. "I don't do no gangbang, I'm a rapper." But in the leaked footage, he's comfortable talking about street retaliation. That contradiction, that inconsistency is exactly what prosecutors love. Jurors remember moments like this. People trust the version of someone who speaks freely when comfortable, not the rehearsed one on camera. And the timing couldn't be worse. B is under house arrest, awaiting trial, allowed only 5 hours a week to record music. The judge made it clear, any mistake could justify further restrictions. This clip isn't a minor slip, it's catastrophic. The moment it hit the internet, Dallas exploded. Some said it confirmed suspicions, some called him careless, others claimed it was a setup, but no one could deny the damage. Fans began linking it to past social media threads and altercations between BI and MO3. Major platforms reposted updates about his arrest, and academics shared it to millions. Courts move slowly, but public perception moves instantly. If this case reaches a jury, prosecutors don't even need to prove the clip is a confession, they only need to show B's contradictions. A jury that doesn't trust a defendant is a jury that convicts.bey can't explain why he denies every rumor publicly but confirms the energy behind them in private. He can't explain why he acts calm and innocent on camera, but terrified when the truth slips. And most importantly, he can't take the clip back. Once it's online, it's permanent. Screenshots, reposts, blogs, they never die. Prosecutors won't ignore it either. What matters now isn't literal guilt, it's perception. It's the contradiction. It's the version of B the streets always suspected him to be. In those quiet, unguarded moments, without lawyers, cameras, or microphones, he spoke from a place he's been hiding. And that version of him, the real one, might be the version that decides his future.